Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Paw Speed Shop. And today we're going to be talking about a dream that I've had for absolutely years. It's this 4.8 has got to take the place of this little G54B. So overall, this project is going to take a good long while to get it finished. Now, to get the first couple of steps done, hopefully it doesn't take us too long. But here are the parts that I've gotten so far for the LS swap. All right, so one of the first things that I got, actually I got this, I think this was the first thing that I bought. I have an Aisin 5-speed out of Colorado. And then the only reason that I decided on this transmission was because I couldn't afford to go with like a T56 or anything like that. They get stupid money for those things right now. But the kit that I decided on is this beautiful piece of billet right here. Goodness gracious. This is a FABbot kit for the Aisin 5-speed. You can see FABbot's logo right there. Yep. This takes the Aisin 5-speed and gives you the adapter for the slave cylinder and everything. I didn't buy the slave cylinder through them, but it gives you the adapters for everything so that you can use LS1 style clutch and flywheel assembly that you would use in like a Camaro. And all you need is a bell housing off a 4L60E. My dad had one laying around, so he donated that to the project. And that's going to be bolted to that, through that, to that, so it could go to the LS. So overall, I think I got this transmission for about 450 bucks. Paid a little bit more than a lot of people pay for them, but I did have it shipped home, so it did cost me a little bit extra. So let's talk about the LS itself. This started life out as a Silverado 1500 4.8 liter. I think it's like an 03 or an 04, I don't know for sure. But this thing was a scuzzy, ugly, just a little motor when I got it. So I went through and cleaned it up, and it now resides in Pontiac Blue, which is just probably the prettiest engine color to ever come out of Detroit. And I just really like the way it looks. From the bottom up, we have a Wyand front sump pan that I got from Jegs, and that'll allow us to put this motor in the Conquest, which is pretty sick. It does have some baffling in it, but we'll talk about how we're going to get this thing to live with the way I'm going to treat it. So other than the Wyand oil pan, it's got our custom, well, I would say my dad has a custom kit that he made for the accessory drive system on an LS to use the stock truck, which is the cheapest option, of water pump. I mean, this saved me a ton of money because accessory drive kits can get stupid expensive. So shout out to the Elder Guru for making that kit and sciencing it all out for his 5.3 that he's got for a future turbo project. Now, going up the motor, after we get past the accessory drive kit, we have the head. And now, as far as the heads go, I did a trunnion kit because I didn't want the needle bearings to fall out of the thing and ruin the motor at 7,500 RPM. I did push rods because they were worn out. Did valve springs, even though you don't have to technically with the cam that I put in this thing. So on top, we have the Holley dual plane carburetor, cathedral port, intake manifold. And on top of that, we're doing a little Holley, this is my dad's old race carburetor, one of the ones that we have laying around. Well, we're gonna refurbish it, go through it, and make it all nice. And that's just a cool little bell that he has left over from years of drag racing and stuff like that. So along with the intake manifold came this MSD box. And this was the single most expensive piece. I think Billy's wanting to come in. Billy, you want to come in, bud? Come on in. Come on. Come on, bud. What, bud? You want to help me film? You don't want to? Are you hungry? Oh, you are. I got to talk about my LS. You good? Huh? You good? Oh, I'll come feed you in a second, okay? You're a nut. You burn? God, you're such a nut. But yeah, that kit was the single most expensive kit for the swap, other than all of this. These are all my fittings that I need to make the oiling system work. And there's just a lot of stuff here. I'm not going to go through all the details of it, because this is the next coolest piece in the entire swap. This thing right here is an AccuSump. My uncle had it laying around, so I got a deal on it. And that's going to be what keeps this thing alive at 7,500 RPM. And I'm super excited because that looks super race car, and it's going to look awesome inside the Conquest build. So as far as this thing running at 7,500 RPM, the only way we're able to do that, and I hope it works with stock heads, is our no springs required comp cams camshaft. This thing is pretty sweet. I don't know the specs off the top of my head, so I'll put them in the description below if you want to take a look at it. But it's a pretty sweet little cam for the deal that Comp Cams has going. And it's just what we ended up talking to the guys there and finding out that's kind of what we wanted for this little LS, especially with a little bit of nitrous on top of it. So it's going to be good there. So the LS is basically stock. I was going to make a video on building it, but as far as my schedule went, it just didn't work out. And so look at it. It's just absolutely gorgeous. It's going to be awesome. It's going to rev out to 7,500 RPM because of our drift cam. And it's going to go in there just as easy as possible. That transmission is not going to have any interference in the tunnel. And it's all just going to work really well. Did you just say it's not going to work well? All right. His negativity is getting to me. So let's go ahead and drain the fluids out of this thing. Get it under the engine hoist so we can get this motor out here soon, and let's see how far we get. Well, this is kind of a bittersweet moment, guys, because I'm about to move the Conquest under our hoist, which means the car has to be in the center of the garage. This is going to be the last time that I fire up the G54 in the Conquest. It's kind of sad. It's been a great little motor. But LS is going to be better. Let's fire it up one more time. Gotta hook up the battery. Got a little disconnect. Mighty Car Mod spec. Oh. It's all working. There she is in all her glory. I'm going to miss the little tractor flap. It's a cool little project. It's pretty fun. Oh, check this out too. So when you drop the hood, it's so funny. Thank you, car. All right, last start up. Like that. The thing's run for the last time in this car. Little tractor flap. So cool. This thing was supposed to be blown up when we bought it for 750 bucks. But it ended up being out a pretty good little ripper. Looks so good. Goodness gracious, look at it. Oh yeah. Woohoo! Let's get that motor out of there. All right, the car's up on the stands. That actually took a little bit longer. I had a jack failure. It's like low on fluid or something. The thing's been leaking for a while. There it is. Let's get to ripping this thing apart. Here's a little little bit of an update where I'm at. I've been working, not super steady, but been getting after a little bit. The transmission is disconnected from the engine. I just have a bolt holding it in place. The drive shaft is out. Look at this little dude. Look how tiny it is. Little short thing. Transmission is disconnected as far as all the lines and stuff go. All the way up there and everything. Got a jack stand about to support the back of the motor. So I'm about to pry this thing apart and pull the transmission out. Check it out, the transmission is out of the car. I'll be doing a lot of other little things here and there, but some evidence is showing that someone has had this thing out before. Everything's kind of shiny on the edges, and then there's a random, just a different bolt than all the rest of them. It's kind of funny. The car looks really good on the underside. I've been kind of wondering about the driver's side frame rail, why it looks so weird, and I think I figured out that the steering box leaks power steering fluid, which strips paint, and so it stripped the paint off of the driver's side frame rail. So that was good, but just cleaning up for the night. This thing's out, which was my only real goal for the night. First day, we're gonna get back at it in a couple of days and get this motor out of here. So I'll see you guys then. All right, it's been about a day and we had a bit of an accident. I did a really good job without keeping all the transmission fluid all over the shop, but that thing decided to leak its guts everywhere, and it's probably because I left a paper towel in as a plug in one of the holes in the side of the thing, and it basically just saturated it and leaked everywhere while we were gone for the day. But today we're gonna get this thing out of here. Dad's gonna help me get it out of there, so we're gonna go ahead and try to get it done as quick as possible, because I really want to start trying to fit this thing to that, and then taking measurements and seeing where it'll fit in the engine bay.
Loose on this side. We probably ought to wipe up the floor and undo. We need to put the chain on first so we can balance it.
Yeah.
And then we can undo these two bolts over here. Come out easy.
That one's kind of hard to get to.
Those two are probably the price will do underneath.
Yeah.
You just put a bolt right in the top of the manifold.
Okay.
Well, it wasn't accessible.
Wow.
I could probably use those.
Look at the galley. Look at the galley that goes outside this block, Dad. Look at this mess. What a chunk.
What the heck is that?
I don't know. Those things are about to start leaking. It's because this thing's made to be a tow motor on the side of a mountain to pull donkeys up the hill so people can climb up Mount Everest.
You unload all the pallets of coffee from Juan Valdez.
Yeah.
Put them on the ship.
Yeah, this is a great motor, man. You drove them, dude. Really awesome.
I'd be offended if you threw it away.
Yeah, watch this.
You put this in there?
Boom. Clear. Get out from under it.
Well, now it can't hurt the car anymore, so.
Oh, I'm gonna steel-toed boots on.
No, there's nothing connected between here and there.
So guys, here's a question for you. What in the world would a bung that looks like a hose would hook to? There it is right there. What would that be? I don't know why it would vent into the into the frame rail. The charcoal canister sat right there, and then the air box was up here. But that was about the only thing I saw. It looks like there was a tube running to it at one point because there is some kind of hose manager, little clip thing right there. But I don't understand what that is, and nothing was hooked to it, so we couldn't tell.
Maybe there's a Star and Conquest engineer watching that.
Yeah, the StarQuest engineers. What actually was that? I turned Mighty Car Mods down. All right, the G54 is out of the engine bay. That's all we're gonna do for this video. Next video, we're gonna be fitting the transmission up with the LS to get some good measurements off of it, because I'm kind of worried about how all that's gonna fit in there. We'll probably have to move the radiator because the radiator sits here. Probably have to move it under here at least. Know we're gonna have to do some cutting around there to get it to push back far enough. And basically it's all gonna determine, or what's gonna determine it is how far back we can get the oil pan up against there and figure out what we're gonna do for engine mounts. Other than that, everything looks really good. The car's pretty solid. There's a little bit of surface rust over there where the power steering fluid stripped away the paint on that frame rail, but it's just surface rust. So we're gonna get a new steering box or rebuild that one because it's leaking down at the bottom of it. And I'll spend the next video or so going through, cleaning this up, fitting the transmission and the engine together, taking measurements and getting ready to test fit everything, and so we can kind of make headway toward that. Thank you guys so much for watching, and if you made it all the way through the video, even bigger thanks to you, because most people don't make it all the way through a video. Leave a comment if you have a question, you want to tell me I'm doing something dumb, if I'm jacking something up on the purity of this vehicle. You know, it is such a pure, beautiful Japanese engineered vehicle, and it's gonna even be better with all of that American heart in the middle of it too. But yeah, subscribe if you like what you're seeing, and please leave a comment, like, do all that kind of stuff. And this is really gonna take a lot of commitment from us over here at Paw Speed Shop to get this thing done in a timely manner so we can get videos out to y'all, and so that this car doesn't sit here on our little pedestals for too long. But just go ahead and get after it, guys, and we'll see you guys next time.